Hey there, friends. Jaron Jordan here. We are cutting into your programming on NBC 33 and Fox 44 to bring you this special report. This morning, Mayor President Sharon Westenbroom joining together with members of law enforcement and domestic violence prevention advocates discussing resources that are available for victims of domestic violence during this coronavirus pandemic. This news conference set to get underway any minute now outside of City Hall in East Baton Rouge Parish. Let's go there now live where the mayor is just beginning to speak.
Distancing.
Hey, you see where the chief standing over there? That's where you going.
All right. Is everybody ready? Good morning, everyone, and I want to thank you all for joining us today in our effort to address the COVID-19 pandemic in our community. Today, I'm here with leaders from our community to address the volatile circumstances that can increase during a crisis. Increased stress and the closure of schools and places of work can contribute to those circumstances. Leaders across our country are racing to enact policies to slow the spread of the virus, flatten the curve, and aid members of our communities that are in need. It's essential that we recognize the heightened risk of domestic violence during this time. I want to thank our many partners who are here today to address this issue, including District Attorney Hiller Moore, Captain Broussard representing Sheriff Sid Gautreaux, Baton Rouge Police Chief Murphy Paul, the Honorable Chief Judge Hunter Green of East Baton Rouge Parish Family Court, Prosecutor Brandy Littles Lawrence, the Butterfly Society, Capital Area Human Services, IRIS Domestic Violence Center, and Sexual Trauma Awareness and Response. Individuals who are in physically or emotionally abusive situations may experience an increase in the frequency or intensity of that abuse. Spending days or weeks with an abusive partner or family member opens the door for immense physical and emotional trauma. Unfortunately, this is the reality of COVID-19, and it presents it to many of our neighbors, families, and friends. I want to make it known that the welfare of our community is always my top priority, as well as the leaders that I mentioned. And this is not limited to the crisis at hand, of course. It's heartbreaking, and it's a heartbreaking time for our community in more ways than one. I want to ensure that our community is aware of the resources that are available to them. I will now ask our District Attorney, Hiller Moore, to present his domestic violence report and speak more on this issue. He will be followed by Captain Broussard, Chief Murphy Paul, and Judge Hunter Green. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. Our community saw a spike in domestic and dating violence cases after the flood of 2016. In the past week, we already appear to see a spike in these types of cases. However, it's too soon to know the actual statistics. With the overwhelming fear and anxiety that many people are experiencing today, it's expected that these emotions may trigger abusers to both isolate and to further abuse their victims as they try to maintain a sense of control during this difficult period. Our office is working daily with local law enforcement, probation and parole, public defenders, and the courts to both recognize the health concerns of our community while balancing the risk and the needs of victims of domestic and dating abuse. It is important for abusers to hear that we, all of us in our community, will not tolerate physical abuse of partners, spouses, or children. Our office can point offenders in the direction of community resources, offering behavioral counseling, substance abuse treatment, etc. Reach out to someone before hurting those that you are supposed to hold dear and to protect. Know that if you continue to abuse, law enforcement and my office will hold you accountable and will prosecute you for your behavior. It's important for victims to know that our office, law enforcement, and probation and prosecutors are still available to assist you. We are releasing today our annual 2019 report that highlights our Stop the Loss initiative, a strategy to identify and intervene in patterns of abuse. I want to thank Melanie Fields and Suzanne Hamilton for their hard work on this report and the Stop the Loss program. We have slowly and methodically made collaborative changes in the way that we address domestic and dating violence in an effort to quickly intervene, to redirect those in need to community service, and to ultimately stop the loss of life due to domestic violence. My office works daily with law enforcement to identify those offenders that are most violent and continue to abuse despite intervention and offers of help. We are continuing bi-weekly phone conferences that include our office, law enforcement, and the advisors of the National Network for Safe Communities as we launch our initiative into full implementation. Our victims assistance coordinators are on duty 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to reach out to victims and children both by phone, email, and at the hospital. We continue to reach out to our ATF partners and our federal partners at the United States Attorney's Office to refer those abusers that use guns for federal prosecution. And we're working diligently to open up the Capital Area Family Justice Center as soon as possible. It's too soon to know the full impact of our health crisis on our community families, but we do know that external stressors like a pandemic and the national disaster we saw in 2016 may escalate an already dangerous situation, putting victims and children at a greater risk of being abused, beaten, or raped. We're asking people to stay at home because it's safe, but the reality is, for many people, home is anything but safe. If you are experiencing violence, both adults and children, you need to know that you're not alone and that your community is with you. We ask family and friends to be aware of their loved ones during this time, as domestic and dating abusers often isolate their victims. If you can, safely check in with someone that you believe is experiencing abuse, please do so. The Irish Domestic Violence Center is fully operational and will continue to provide 24-hour, 7-day-a-week crisis calls and sheltering during the COVID-19 event. Individuals in need of assistance, information for safe sheltering can call IRIS at 389-3001 to speak confidentially to a trained advocate and to receive information, referrals, or services offered by IRIS to qualified victims of domestic abuse or family dating violence. The IRIS Legal Department remains in constant communication with all of the courts within our service area and will provide daily updates on case scheduling, changes to all and challenges to all legal clients. You may find these updates on the IRIS website at www.stopdv.org. The District Attorney's Office Victims Assistance Domestic Violence may be reached at 389-7714. This counsel is available for consultation, referral to community resources, and for assistance in safety planning. The 19th Judicial District Court has canceled most of the legal proceedings and limited courthouse entry to specific people, including those seeking temporary restraining orders. Their hours are 8:30 to noon, Monday through Friday. Those who are arrested for domestic violence offenses and who may bond are for the most part now given no contact orders as conditions of release. If you're a victim and if you want to know if the abuser is getting released and or if a no contact order is in place, you may go to the Sheriff's Office website for guidance. If you are now isolated with your abuser, you should know that my office in law enforcement has not abandoned you. Reach out if you can safely, and we will respond. We will have copies of the 2019 domestic violence report available. Significant in that report is that last year, still unfortunately, we had 2 domestic violence homicides, which resulted in actually 4 actual victims, but 2 separate instances, compared to 14 the year following the flood, which is why the mayor and I called this conference today so we could all let you know what happens after such an effect as a flood, a hurricane, and now this unprecedented pandemic. We want everyone to be aware of the potential that's out there, and please reach out to us for help. I'd like to have Mr. Chiquita Broussard of the Sheriff's Office come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Good morning. Sheriff Gautreaux has instructed his uniformed deputies to make arrests in cases of domestic and dating partner abuse when they believe not only probable cause exists, but also when they have concerns for the safety of victims and children. The sheriff has also instructed his uniformed deputies to put enough details into their affidavits of probable cause to best inform the court of any possible victim safety concerns, as well as any known history of DV. For the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office, we've actually seen a significant decrease in calls for service, particularly pertaining to those involving domestic violence. In March of this year, we received 64 such calls. In March of 2019, we received 101. Historically, over the past couple of years, we received an average of a little over 100 domestic violence calls a month. So 64 calls this month, though we have a few days left, would be almost a 36% decrease from this month last year. The Sheriff's Office has a dedicated domestic violence unit that receives all EBRSO domestic violence cases daily. We are committed to the victims and survivors of domestic incidents. We'd also like to point out that our community has come together and responded well in times of hardship. We believe in the people of this parish and have great faith that we will pull together through the COVID-19 crisis as well. At this time, I would like to turn the podium over to Chief Murphy Paul of the Baton Rouge Police Department.
We want to stress the importance of giving help. You know, when you heard the mayor speak and the numbers that Hiller gave, we're concerned because of this current state. And that's why we're here. We want you to take advantage of the services that you're going to hear from some of our partners who are going to come behind me. Please, get the help you need. You know, our major assaults division, more than 50% of the cases they work involve domestic violence. Our major assaults division, by design, handle cases involving the use of weapons or involving victims who have received serious bodily injury. Now, I have instructed our uniform officers to make arrests in cases of domestic and dating partner abuse when probable cause exists or if it's in the best interest of the victim as well. But I just left our real-time crime center prior to coming over here, and I looked at some of the data over a 2-week overview. And we look at that over a 4-month comparison. But the 2-week overview indicates that battery and assaults are up by a few incidents since we've been in this current state. EDP calls, those are calls involving emotionally disturbed persons, they are slightly up. Violent crime overall is up because of those assaults. So something is going on. We need you to get the help that you need. Property crime is down. Overall crime is down, but those specific areas that are concerning us, what we see what's happening in other ports around the country, where we're seeing disturbances calls are increasing when we have anxiety and stress. That's side by side with this incident. Get the help that you need. Get the help you need. Take advantage of these services. Another area that's concerned is overdoses. Even though our calls for services for overdoses are down, overdose fatalities are up. And we're coming off a year, last year, and I'm speaking of parish, not just the city, where we had more overdoses than ever before. We are already exceeding that number. And when we look at this month, the month that we're currently in, we are exceeding those numbers by double figures. So get the help that you need. Take advantage of the services that you're going to hear today. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Hunter Green, Chief Judge of the Family Court of East Baton Rouge. I want to thank the Mayor and the DA, the Chief, and the clerk's office for organizing this. Particularly, we work real closely with the clerk's office. I just want to make sure that everybody knows for domestic violence, the court is open every day of the week. We have a limited docket to emergency matters right now by order of the Supreme Court. Those first and foremost, domestic violence matters, and then secondly, emergency custody matters. Those are the two things that the Supreme Court has ordered that all courts focus on right now. We are open every day, Monday through Friday. Clerk's office has a limited time of 8 to 12 to handle the matters and to receive the filings, take the information, and then bring them up to the court. We sign those every day. There's no need for anybody to bring others with them when they come into the courtroom. It's a secure facility. You will not have a hearing on that day. Those matters are granted just by the filing. Those are called ex parte granting of the domestic violence protective or temporary restraining order. Again, the family court is open. You might have seen on the news that courts are closed. That is not true. The family court is open to handle, first and foremost, domestic violence matters. But just remember, if you are a litigant, a petitioner for domestic violence, make sure you stay in touch with the clerk's office, the Iris Domestic Violence Center, and the court about your court date. That court date will not be until after April 13th. Thank you. And I'll turn it back over to the mayor.
Thank you, Judge Green and our District Attorney, Hiller Moore, Captain Broussard, and Chief Murphy Paul. I hope that our entire community can use the information that is being provided this morning to help them stay safe throughout the coronavirus and in the future. Now I want to introduce our community partners, the Iris Domestic Violence Center and the Butterfly Society. From the Iris Domestic Violence Center, John Price will speak, and from the Butterfly Society, Tawana Harris will speak.
Thank you, Mayor Broome. I'm John Price. I'm the Executive Director of the Iris Domestic Violence Center. We're a 501c nonprofit agency that provides domestic violence and family abuse services to individuals who are victims. We've done that for 38 years in Baton Rouge and the surrounding community. We do not close at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We don't close on the weekends. We don't close for holidays. And we are not closing for COVID-19 response. So the Iris Domestic Violence Center remains open 24 hours, 7 days a week to respond to the needs of individuals who are suffering from domestic abuse, family, or dating violence. Preventing domestic abuse and the spread is a very challenging situation under normal circumstances. It's exacerbated anytime we have to respond in the course of an emergency. We've done that before in the past with floods. We've done that before in the past with an economic downturn. And now we face it with the COVID-19 response. It's especially difficult now because many of the policies and procedures that have been put in place to prevent the spread of COVID-19 play into the hands of domestic violence and those who would use that. When you place a victim and put her in a home or him in a home with an abuser over an extended period of time, it's a change in the routine that causes additional stress. People that can't go to work, don't have access to normal financial resources, it causes additional stress. People that have limited access perhaps to medical facilities or treatment, it causes additional stress. All of those combine and you end up with a situation that is exacerbated. We have not seen a dramatic increase in the number of calls as of now. We anticipate, and data reflects that we might, but what we have seen are certainly much more challenging circumstances in dealing with the safety of individuals who are going through the throes of an abusive relationship. All of those add up and create a situation that is somewhat volatile and can lead to violence. And we want everyone to know that we are out there and that we are providing our services, and we're a phone call away. I'm going to say the number again. It's 225-389-3001. Trained advocates will remain on duty. They will answer the calls 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you have a difficulty in being able to reach that, you can look on our website, www.stopdv.org. We've adopted changes in the way and the procedures that we're going to utilize going forward, but we will be on call, we will be of service. This is a community health issue, and I'm pleased to be here and proud to be here. I want to publicly express my appreciation for the support of Mayor Broome, District Attorney Moore, Chief Sid Gautreaux, Chief Paul, Judge Hunter Green. It's a collaborative effort, and that's what it's going to take, because we need a collaborative response to this public health issue. And I want you to know we're going to be there, and please call us if you're in a situation. And last but not least, if you worked with an individual who you thought might have been in a domestic abuse situation, and you're not likely to see them now because you're sheltering at home, I would recommend that you maybe give that person a call, maybe check on them. It might be a family member, it might be a coworker, somebody from your church. Reach out and ask them if they're okay. We don't make calls directly to victims. We rely on them. It's a violation of confidentiality, it's a violation, it's a security breach. They have to call us. So I would simply implore you to maybe reach out to somebody who you may think may be in trouble and see if you can convince them to give us a call or to seek assistance or help. We'll be there for them whenever they call. Godspeed, stay safe.
Good morning. Thanks so much to Mayor Sharon Westenbroom and District Attorney Hilla Moore for this opportunity for us to get the message out. Out of public health concerns and safety, all events, speaking engagements scheduled for the Butterfly Society have been postponed until further notice. However, the Butterfly Society team, board members, and volunteers are here to support and assist clients. We understand that although the shelter-in-place regulations imposed by the governor is necessary, it imposes even more of a concern for those who are quarantined with their abuser throughout the duration of this crisis. We want the community to know that we are still here and we are available for you. Our services continue. We are still manning the phone line 24/7. Our contact number is 225-347-7725. Our website information is thebutterflysociety.org. You can also locate us on Facebook. We're still providing temporary lodging, rental assistance, all necessities that's needed by our clients, referrals and information. We do a lot of referrals to District Attorney Hilla Moore's office, the Iris Domestic Violence Center, Family Services of Greater Baton Rouge. And we're also doing safety planning with our clients. We have received a number of calls over this week and a half with clients who are in need of safety planning. How do I remain safe in this type of crisis? Also, we encourage our friends and supporters to listen and follow CDC guidelines. The Butterfly Society is grateful for the continued support, and we ask that you stay safe and healthy. I also want to say that, and I echo what Mr. John Price said from Iris Domestic Violence Center, it's going to take each and every one of us to work together collaboratively, referring to other agencies when we're not able to provide those services that a client is in need of. We want the community to know that they're not alone in this. We stand with you, we support you, we have your back. We know that in a time like this, the numbers will rise, they will go up, but we want our clients, we want those who feel that they're alone to know that the Mayor's Office, District Attorney Hilla Moore, Iris Domestic Violence Center, and the Butterfly Society, we are here united to let you know that we have your back. Chief Paul and the Baton Rouge Police Department is a partner of ours. We call They Are Johnny on the Spot. I want to thank him for that. The Sheriff's Office, Sid Gotro, and his deputies are doing an exceptional job. Anytime that we need them, they are Johnny on the spot. Just because we have a crisis in our community doesn't mean that domestic violence come to an end. I want you to know that domestic violence is 365 days a year. We will get through this. We will get through this together. You are not alone. The Butterfly Society, you can find us at our website again, thebutterflysociety.org. We're located on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. Our email address is thebutterflysociety@gmail.com. We are here for you. We have your back. Thank you.
Thank you to all of our partners today who have joined us. It is our intent and hope that this information that has been provided today will help those citizens and those individuals who may be struggling right now, that this information will empower you. And if you are a current victim or a survivor of domestic abuse, you've heard it from everyone here. We are here to serve you. You do not have to stay in an abusive situation, so please contact us in this process. Please note that this community is concerned about you. And as we have continued to say, we want everyone to stay calm. We want everyone to get the information that they need to stay aware. And as we work to flatten the curve, we have to stay apart. So with that being said, I am going to open it up for questions. Remember that our district attorney has his report available and accessible to you, his yearly report on domestic violence. Are there any questions? Yes. Oh, I thought that was a sign that you said. Questions? Well, thank you all so much for coming out today.